CN Free Studio. This is a show dedicated to discovering your unique, special, and different. I call it our USD. I've brought along some incredible guests to meet with us and share their stories. And so if you're a person that geeks out when you learn people's stories, this is the place to be. With that, I would love to introduce today's guest, Aviva Perea Jansen. Aviva started working in competitive Hollywood beauty industry about 15 years ago. She's been featured in Elle, Wonderland, InStyle, Redbook, and Vogue, just to name a few. She's been doing important brand campaigns with Hervé Leger and Buxom Cosmetics. I hope I said that right. She'll tell me. So if you've ever wondered what Anna from Frozen, Gamora from the Guardians of the Galaxy, and Ugly Betty have in common, it's Aviva. She takes care of these strong, kick-ass female actresses because she's a strong, kick-ass female herself. She has the right balance of perfection and a people-centered approach that makes her unique. And I cannot wait to share her with all of you. With that, welcome, Aviva.
Hello.
Hi
there. First of all, that intro, I feel like I would like you to write my bio.
Anytime. I'd love to.
That's so good.
I would love to promote you. I've gotten to know, just to give people context about how we know each other, we're both in love with the same woman, but you're married to her. The fabulous CJ. Yes, and we have gotten to know each other through her, and I have just really enjoyed meeting you. And through the pandemic, watching some of your really cool tutorial videos on how to do hair at Hair by Aviva, and you can tell everybody about that. So that's been really good to help me get through just figuring out what to do with my hair, amongst other things. But with that, do you want to tell people, what do you see, what are you doing right now? What are you spending your time?
Well, it was the nature of the germs make it so that my job is impossible to do. I mean, I can't be around anybody and touching people, let alone. So I've just, at the beginning of the pandemic, I was like kind of having a lot of anxiety, as the rest of the planet was. And I just needed something to channel all of that. And I also lost all of the creativity that I was used to on a daily basis. So having the ability to be silly in front of the camera. And I mean, most of my videos, I like to think it's just like entertainment with a side of hair instruction, but it's really just my attempt to be ridiculous in front of the camera.
Yeah. Well, I won't say that you're really good at being ridiculous, but I will say that you are extremely talented and creative. And, everything from teaching somebody like me with two boys how to do a haircut on somebody with short hair, to how to figure out your wave and take care of your curls. You've been great and very entertaining. So I would love for you to just tell people, what is your unique, special, and different from your perspective?
Well, I think growing up, I kind of was raised by a single mother, and oftentimes had a television as a babysitter. And I Love Lucy was my end all be all. I know every episode. Humor at a very young age was super important to me, and for me, that is kind of what defines beautiful, is like humor and funny and the ability to not take yourself too seriously. So that's kind of how I approach my work, and hopefully when I'm getting someone ready for an important event, having that levity and that humor. If they're relaxed, they look more beautiful. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of my contemporary colleagues, I don't know what to say, other hairdressers, fashion can tend to be very, very serious. And everyone takes things so seriously. And I mean, there's a lot of criticism if there's an actress walking down the red carpet, but I think my uniqueness is some kind of humor when it comes to beauty and fashion and just to having fun. We're so lucky to be able to get to do what we do. So that I think it was my my value add here.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's such an important thing what you just said is like being relaxed, enjoying yourself is key to beauty. And I don't know that we all see things that way. And how do you think people respond when you tell them that? Like, you need to relax, you need to enjoy yourself. Do you see people just kind of melt in front of you when you're working on their hair?
No,
No.
you don't ever want to tell anyone to relax or just have fun. You have to do it in a very dog whispery way.
Got it.
Where you kind of, they'll sense your fear they totally can sense fear. So you have to almost go in setting the tone with your energy, which took me a very long time to learn how to do. But if you're stressed, it's going to make them stressed. If you walk in, maybe I drop stuff on purpose just to make them giggle, or it's kind of just like subliminally setting a mood that we're about to have fun. This is all going to be fun. We're going to collaborate. And they leave not knowing that I dog whispered them. I shouldn't call actresses dog, but you know what I mean? Like, I set the mood and the tone.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. And do you see, what you do as an art form? I mean, how do you look at your craft? Because obviously you're really good. I'm just looking at your hair. You're really good. But how did you get so good at this particular art form and the discipline?
Well, thank you. I definitely see it as an art form. I kind of see makeup artists as painters and hairstylists as sculptors, because I'm sculpting a shape and an overall silhouette of like whatever someone is wearing, whether it's a big gown, and I've got to think about proportion and how to put things, the texture. Is it shiny? Is it matte? Is it smooth? Are there flyaways that are intentional? So for sure, I feel like an artist. And how did I start? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah. How did you start and how did you get to where you are?
Oh, okay. So I also come from a long line of hairdressers. I think on my dad's side, my grandfather was a barber. My dad's sister and brother are both hairdressers. I think it just kind of is in the blood. My aunt she did a competitive hairstyling shows in the 80s. And as far as like how I assisted for a long time, and I worked with some of legendary Hollywood celebrity hairstylists and just hairstylists in general, celebrity or not. And there were three main guys that I worked for, and they each had distinctive styles. So one was kind of old Hollywood, Veronica Lake, like sculpted, shiny, real old school way of hairdressing. One was more ethereal and like hippie and like, it's just like a vibe. And then one was kind of in the middle and like a touchable, kind of like sexy bombshell hair person. And because I was able to assist both of them, watch how their hands moved, I kind of formed a way of how my hands move. But every once in a while I'll see something and be like, oh my God, that's like Mark. That's how he holds a brush. Or that's, the other guys. But I was really lucky to assist such great artists.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're like the perfect mix of, like you said, innate ability that you were born with. It comes with the family, plus these incredible experiences to learn and try new things. And like you said, bringing humor, in a place where there could be lots of pretense and people, like you said, stiff, serious, you mentioned, and those three things together make you who you are. And that's wonderful. Has there been any times in your life where, bringing your unique, special, and different, the way you look at the world and your approach, where it's helped you get through a tough time or any sort of challenges that you've seen?
Oh, yeah. I mean, things have happened in my personal life that have been quite painful, but I usually am able to tap into that kind of humor. Hopefully, I mean, art and um, creativity is definitely a way of like snapping my brain out of whatever anxiety is happening or darkness or sadness. It's usually a real beauty for me is a real, and it's not about being beautiful. It's about the art of beauty is a real level setter for any kind of emotion that I'm not really loving. So it's always been, I don't know, whether it's like watching a red carpet or editorial in a magazine. I love it. It's pure joy for me.
That is really cool. And I mean, that's also, I think sometimes, what I would love to convey to people is to lean on that, lean on the things that make you stronger, the things that make you feel good, that just kind of come naturally to you in the moments that are the toughest. And I think what you just shared is a reminder of that you relying on your art form and the lightheartedness and your focus on people really helps you get through some tough times. I have this section in the show where I like to ask a random question. And the way I do that is I give you a number between 1 and 25, and you tell me what you want to pick. And that's the question that you'll get. So just tell me, what number would you like between 1 and 25?
Well, I was married on the 21st, so I'll pick that date.
All right, let's see what it is. Okay. Okay. If you could use your USD to influence just one person to do something, who would it be and what would you influence them to do?
Whoa. Okay, so my industry is filled with a lot of, I'd say, similar pigmented skin colors, and I am on the darker end of that. I think I've been thinking about this a lot lately, is I'd like to put out on my Instagram a call for queer people of color to come and be my assistant, and I'd like to mentor them from the way ground up, before you have a portfolio, before you know what you're doing, maybe straight out of beauty school or maybe about to go into beauty school. But I just feel like I'd like to see a little more diversity in my profession at the level or at the place that I'm styling with. It is a lot of men and it is a lot of Caucasian people. And if there's a way that I could help change that a little bit, and not only teaching them my hairdressing skills, but also there's a lot that goes into this. It's like, I was really nervous to begin with when I started out. It's not normal to walk in and see somebody that everyone knows and then have to touch them and work with their insecurities. That's a whole different skill set outside of just like, this is how to give a really good blowout. There is like the ability to build a portfolio and how to have flow and how the pictures should go together and how to show diversity in your work. There's a lot, like how to deal with publicists, how to have an agent, how to travel internationally to do, it's a whole thing. So if I could not only teach the basics of my job, but I'd also like to do make sure that they laugh every day and have a lot of fun and remember that it's really fun and can be very serious, but at the end of the day, it's so silly what we do. And you should approach every day with a lot of silliness and humor.
I love it, Aviva. That just, I love what you're saying. Just turning an industry, from the inside out, and really not just changing the face of it, literally the face of it, but the house, how people work, how they enjoy their work, and they can bring themselves, their whole selves, to their work. And I think what an important message that is. I know you're supporting the LA LGBT Center, and I would love for you to talk a little bit about them. And, we'd like every one of our guests to be able to promote an organization they'd like to see in free, make sure they bring visibility to it. And then let's get our viewers to donate and to learn about that organization and help drive their mission. So would you tell us a little bit about the LA LGBT Center?
Yeah, it is. I picked it because it's so the breadth of what they do is so massive, from like giving prenatal care to a pregnant woman who maybe can't afford to go to a doctor, all the way to senior assistants, and every color and everything in between they tackle. I was married before, and I was marrying a French woman, and we needed legal advice about paperwork. You can even go there for something like that, about marrying across country site.
Immigration, yeah.
Yes, that's it. Immigration assistance.
Yes, yeah.
But I know I've turned to them at different points through my youth, and I just think they're an incredible organization. They help with. They have a shelter for homelessness, homeless trans, especially trans women of color. There's so much assistance, and they do so many different things that it's kind of if you're giving your money to them, it can touch so many different needs and so many different people that it's such a good place to give to.
Yeah. Well, and yes, I think it is. And it just sounds like, recognizing that the community needs a lot of different services. And so anything that our viewers can do to not only bring awareness to the needs of the LGBTQ community, but also to help by donating. And those are very important services for a community that historically hasn't been very well represented or taken care of. And so thank you for bringing attention to that. And I encourage everyone, please, to go click on that link. We'll show it again later, and donate. And Aviva, now that we know that you're making some cool, humorous videos for us to watch, how do people find them if they want to follow you?
Thank you. I am on Instagram at Hair by Aviva, Hair by AVIVA, and and I'm new to being in front of the camera. I've spent 20 years behind it. So it was scary to do. And I'm very, very, very grateful for anyone that watches, because anyone that follows me, anyone that likes my videos, or anyone that watches the video, all of those algorithmic numbers will help me incredibly to keep going and potentially, grow my career in this side of the camera. So I'm really, really grateful for anyone that tunes in.
Yes. Well, and I'm glad you were willing to come on this side of the camera to tell us about you. I think you're an incredible person. I've loved getting to know you. And I am super excited to see how you're going to change your industry and change the world. And I wish you the best of luck. I hope you can get back out there soon. I know all of us do. Especially, I've never worried more about my hair for an appearance than today. I'm wanting to make sure that I looked somewhat decent for you. But, we are so happy to have you and taking care of all of us and just keeping us laughing, keeping us real, and keeping us enjoying ourselves. So, Aviva, I thank you so much for coming on the show. And I hope for everybody else, you come back and visit us. We will have many really cool guests like Aviva over the next few weeks. Make sure to subscribe. You want to subscribe at seeandfreestudio.com on YouTube, or you can follow me on LinkedIn. See you next time.